In a small, quiet village nestled between rolling hills, there lived a beautiful young woman named Belle. Belle was unlike the other villagers. While many were content with simple lives, Belle had a thirst for adventure and a mind that craved knowledge. She spent her days with her nose buried in books, dreaming of faraway places and thrilling escapades. Despite her beauty, Belle felt like an outsider in her town, where most people didn't understand her love of reading or her longing for something more than the life she knew. One day, Belle's father, Maurice, an eccentric inventor, set off on a journey to showcase his latest invention. However, he lost his way in the dark forest and stumbled upon an enormous, mysterious castle hidden deep within the woods. Seeking refuge from the cold, Maurice entered the castle, only to discover that it was home to a terrifying beast, a creature cursed with the form of a monster with fur, fangs, and claws. The beast, angered by Maurice's intrusion, imprisoned him in the castle dungeon. When Belle discovered that her father had gone missing, she set out in search of him, braving the dark forest until she found the castle. There, she encountered the beast. Though frightened, Belle begged for her father's release. In an act of selfless love, Belle offered to take her father's place as the beast's prisoner. Surprised by her bravery, the beast agreed and released Maurice, keeping Belle in the castle instead. The castle itself was unlike anything Belle had ever seen. It was grand, but shrouded in mystery and sadness. She soon discovered that the castle's inhabitants, once human, had been transformed into enchanted objects by the same curse that had turned the prince into the beast. Lumiere, a charming candelabra, Cogsworth, a nervous clock, Mrs. Potts, a motherly teapot, and her son Chip, a lively teacup, all welcomed Belle with kindness. Hoping that she might be the key to breaking the spell, the beast, however, was not as welcoming. He was gruff and ill-tempered, a prisoner of his own anger and loneliness. Yet, as the days passed, Belle's intelligence, courage, and kindness began to soften the beast's hardened heart. Slowly, a friendship blossomed between them, and the beast started to show Belle his gentler side. He even gave her access to his magnificent library, which filled her with joy. But the curse that hung over the castle was a heavy one. Years earlier, the beast had been a selfish and cruel prince. As punishment, an enchantress disguised as a beggar had cursed him, transforming him into a beast and turning his servants into objects. The only way to break the curse was for the beast to learn to love another and earn her love in return, before the last petal of an enchanted rose fell. If not, he would remain a beast forever, and his servants would remain trapped in their enchanted forms. As Belle and the beast spent more time together, their bond grew. They laughed, shared stories, and even danced in the grand ballroom of the castle. Belle began to see beyond the beast's frightening exterior and recognize the kind heart underneath. She no longer saw him as a monster, but as a misunderstood soul longing for connection. Meanwhile, back in the village, a boastful hunter named Gaston had become obsessed with Belle. He wanted to marry her, not because of love, but because of her beauty. When Belle rejected him, Gaston's pride was wounded, and he became determined to win her over by any means necessary. Upon learning that Belle was being held by a terrifying beast, Gaston rallied the villagers, convincing them to storm the castle to save her.